What's up, guys, and welcome to episode 26 of the NEPA Story. Today, we're joined by Carrie Owens, Secretary of New Books on the Block, Joshua Perry, as practicing attorney at O'Donnell Law Office, FNC Bank, who is collaborating for New Books on a Block book drive, and also new books on a block in general. So I really appreciate you guys joining us today to talk about this amazing book drive you guys are doing.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks, Kylie.
So, of course, with New Books on a Block, I always think about the 90s band New Kids on a Block, which we were discussing about earlier, a very popular 90s band. But how did New Books on a Block come about? I know we discussed this before we started recording, but if anyone's not familiar, can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, I could go into detail a little bit more on it. So, one of our goals of this project is to obviously get more books for the Luzerne County prison library system. In what we were doing early on, one of our group mates, she is a realtor and had a home that she was trying to sell that had a lot of used books in it, that the owner of the home didn't want or need for anything. So our group, took them on as an early donation, prior to even having our name set for the group, because we knew we needed books. And in going through the books, there were certain criteria that we had for books, as far as, one of the things we're concentrating is on soft cover books. Hardcover books we can't accept just because of safety reasons. But in going through some of those books, there was advertisement flyers in the pages for the band New Kids on the Block. So we just decided to kind of spin off on that a little bit and created the name New Books on the Block.
Which is such a good name. Like once I found like you guys on social media, I literally thought about New Kids on a Block. Of course, it was a very 90s popular band. And every time I think about that band, I'm just like, this is like the simplest name that I ever heard of that's related to New Kids on a Block, which is crazy to me.
Yeah, now we even have a hard time saying New Kids on the Block because we're so locked in on New Books on the Block.
I
I
know, like
actually,
I literally got so confused earlier. I'm like, oh my God, which one should I say? Like, which one should I do?
when I'm telling the story, I have to like concentrate in my head to focus on whether I want to say New Books on the Block or New Kids on the Block.
I know. It's like which one am I supposed to say when I'm doing something? Like which one is actually gonna work best in this situation?
Yep.
But but what is kind of like the main, purpose for this project?
So, how this all came about is, we are members of the Leadership Northeast core class of 2024. And leadership brings a bunch of different professionals from different backgrounds, different areas together, to teach us, additional leadership skills, put us into team building exercises, and specifically make us involved in the community. So we all have to take on a community impact project, and they separate the whole class into groups. And our group just happened to be, myself, Josh, Mike, who couldn't attend, and then we have a few other members as well: Justin, Christy, Derek, Melissa, and Renee. So there's several of us that are in this one New Books on the Block group. But what happens is leadership gets a request from like a local nonprofit or some kind of organization that's looking for help. And Dress for Success Luzerne County reached out to leadership, and they were looking to get help with getting a lot of books into the facility so that they can improve and expand the current library that is there, in hopes that improving literacy while in prison would help reduce the risk of people to reoffend once they are released.
Hmm. And like, how have like, what has the feedback been like with these people and getting these books? Because of course, when being in prison and have something to do, like I know books is such an important way to kind of keep yourself busy, and of course, learning at the same exact time, no matter what you're reading. But what kind of feedback have you guys kind of received with this?
So we've gotten feedback from a couple of different avenues. Tom, who's the librarian that we've been discussing the book drive with and coordinating with within the prison, has mentioned that providing the inmates with reading materials has definitely helped with reducing incidences within the prison among the inmates, because now they're able to occupy their time with reading and doing more self-beneficial things, and providing them with these materials helps to kind of pass the time while they're in prison. As far as what the prisoners themselves have experienced, we did receive a letter from one of the inmates that was previously in prison. And through reading a series of 3 novels, it made them realize that, their life of running the streets the past 5 years obviously had a very negative effect on them, but also that in multiple different scenarios that they read about, the character in the novels that they were reading tended to always fall back on and rely on their family when times got tough. So it made this individual realize that, instead of going back to the streets, they could, focus on relying on their family when they got out, and working on developing their relationship with their family more to prevent them from having to go back onto the streets when they got back out, and trying to foster a better life. And just from providing them with a few basic novels, it made them realize the significance of leveraging their family and helping them stay out of jail again when they get out.
And that's kind of when you realize how much books really just make an impact on people. So I'm avid book reader. I love reading and learning about different topics. But it really shows with people that are in prison or jail, whatever term you want to use, is actually like reading these type of books that you guys give them and actually kind of changing their perspective on these type of things, whether it's your family not going to jail again or doing, these hateful crimes in the area. It really shows how much the books and also the organization is really making an impact on these people.
Yeah, and I think too, just the idea of kind of the mental stimulation with reading too, and just kind of thinking about things from different views and different perspectives, it helps them to develop as a person. In you know part of what prison is supposed to do is to prepare somebody for when they're released back into society again, to ensure that they've got the tools and mechanisms that they need in order to better handle and adapt to certain situations. So I think this is one small step, but it's something that's very crucial and important for these individuals too, to keep to work on their reading skills, to like I said, build those self-sustaining characteristics is important for them, and ultimately hopefully provides them with benefit when they get released.
Exactly. And like you guys are hosting a book drives throughout the area in NEPA, and there's a bunch of job applications that you guys have all set throughout the next couple of weeks. But kind of tell us more about the book drive you guys are hosting.
So yeah, we are hosting the book drive for the entire month of March. And thanks to Lowe's Home Improvement Store in Wilkes-Barre for donating the boxes and the packing tape that we needed to be able to get these boxes ready. We were able to place them at different sites around the area. We have the Leadership Northeast office downtown Wilkes-Barre, as well as Abide Coffee House, which is also downtown. We have the Pittston Library is a drop-off location, and also donated a lot of books to our project recently as well. We have the Hive Salon Collective in Pittston. That is a hair and nail salon in the Landmark building. There are a few others on the west side of the area. We have the Plymouth Library, also a donor of books to the project. Three Guys Pizza and Sports Bar in Edwardsville, and Vital Source Acupuncture and like the wellness location that's in Kingston. Any FNCB bank location throughout NEPA, doesn't matter where, it could be Wilkes-Barre, Hazleton, anywhere in NEPA, you can donate at an FNCB. And of course, Josh's place of business, O'Donnell Law Office, is also on the list. And then,
Ooh.
of course, if any other businesses are interested in being a drop-off location, they can certainly reach out to us. We would be more than happy to work with them to get a box there and do, routine pickups to make sure that the boxes aren't overflowing.
Ooh,
Yeah,
awesome. I would definitely have to drop some books off at one of those locations, but you can add some to it, Josh, if you want.
yeah, I was gonna say if anybody has donations they're unable to get to a drop off location, or for whatever reason they've got, say, 50 or 100 books that they're concerned with filling up one of the boxes. They could always reach out to us via email or through our Facebook page. Our Facebook page is New Books on the Block dash LNE 24, and our email is nbotb24@gmail.com. So
Awesome.
if
So
you,
I'll put all those links down below so everyone could check it out. But
Awesome.
like, how did you guys kind of collaborate with local businesses and here in NEPA on a book drive site?
it,
So sorry. I think a lot of us just, went to people that we were familiar with. A lot of local businesses also do partnerships and different collaborations with leadership. So, we were familiar with some of the businesses, like specifically Abide Coffee House. They were participating in a scavenger hunt that we had for our opening retreat with our first day with leadership. So, we knew that they were familiar with leadership and how the projects work, and that they would likely be receptive to being a location. Um, and just, again, libraries, we know libraries are going to be very supportive of this project,
Hmm.
because they know the importance of literacy. So we just reached out to local libraries in the area, called them on the phone, emailed them to see if they wanted to participate. And then just, anyone that we were comfortable with, that we were familiar with. A friend of mine works for Three Guys, so I reached out to her. I go to the salon, the Hive Salon. So I reached out to them, obviously Josh's place of business. So it was just people that, we knew, and we wanted to make sure that there were different locations throughout the valley, not just, one specific place. We were trying to reach as many people as we can and make it easy for people to donate as well.
And I kind of wish I had that idea when I did a book drive a few months ago. I did it at one specific location, and I realized as after I did it that many people live throughout NEPA, not so specifically Pittston or the surrounding areas. So I'm glad you guys kind of had that idea to actually do that instead of having at one specific place. And I know people sometimes have like very limited travel to different places throughout NEPA.
Exactly.
And like, how is book drive turning out so far? Like, I know you guys kind of are a couple weeks in, but how's it kind of working out for you guys?
it's been going well. As Carrie mentioned, we got a large donation from the Pittston Library that helped out with it. Um, we're our goal is to hopefully get roughly 2,000 books. We know there's a little over 500 prisoners within the Luzerne County prison system. So if we could, get at least, 3 or 4 books that each prisoner could potentially read and, cycle through the volume of books, we think, 2,000 would give us an adequate number. Um, so we're well on our way to getting there. We won't turn any books down, and the more word we could spread on it to just make people aware of us collecting the books, I think, the better hopefully our donations will be.
And I know I'll probably basically will be doing a couple books. I have so many books in my house I definitely need to donate. So I'll definitely check out some of the locations to donate. But before we wrap up, like, how can people find more information about the book drive and its locations?
So by visiting our Facebook page is probably going to be the easiest way. We do have quite a bit of detail on there, just on like the backing of the project, what our intents and goals are through this project, and kind of there's also a location, or there's a map there with the drop off locations on it as well. So if you're looking for a location near you, you could visit our Facebook page and see which one is closest to where you currently are, and you could visit that one and drop a book off if you'd like. We also have an Amazon link on the face associated with the Facebook page too, so you could click on our Amazon wish list and purchase a book, and it gets sent to one of our team members for us to have the ability to donate that to the prison as well. So, you know, most people do have a few books laying around that they've read over the past year or two. In the event that you've just gone through a cleansing and don't have any books in your possession and you'd still like to make a donation, you could visit that Amazon link and buy a book too to support our drive.
And aside from books too, on the wish list, we do have a few other things. There's some journals, safety pens, things like that to also have in the library for those incarcerated to be able to, maybe make some notes while they're reading, also work on any of, the court stuff that they need to work on. They're in need of like translating devices, in different Spanish reading material too. So I just want to, mention that not just books, there are some other things that we are also in need of to help make this library as functioning and efficient as possible.
Awesome. So I will put all that information in the description for everyone to check out. And it's such an amazing thing that you guys are doing. I remember connecting with Carrie a few months ago about this. I'm just like, I need to do figure out how to get all these books together because I have so many books that I know that I'm probably not going to read and that I need to donate to at least somewhere because I know people probably enjoy it in some books more than I could. So I know a lot of people can take away from so many books that people are donating, and I would recommend everyone listening to check it out. That's in the area, and I really appreciate you guys joining us today to talk about the book drive and everything you guys are doing. So I really appreciate you guys taking the time.
Yeah,
Thanks for
thanks for
having us.
having